What's up, buttercups? Hello, world. It's Tuesday morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful, sunny Tuesday morning on this beautiful planet. Here we are in space-time, and I'm looking out a little tiny window, and there's golden leaves out there. They're just absolutely beautiful. The sun is just shining off of those leaves. What a little piece of heaven. What a little piece of heaven we have here on Earth. I mean, that's just so beautiful. You could just stare at that all day. I usually have to put cardboard in all my windows, and I probably should have done that today, but I wanted to see a little bit of that beautiful piece of heaven out there, out that window, whilst doing the podcast with you guys. If you're near a window, take a look outside. And maybe, you know what, maybe you see maybe you're in a city. And that's okay. You could just imagine some beautiful golden trees turning. So if you're in a city, get out there and look at that beautiful foliage. Yo, it's the morning. Maybe you went and you got your Chick-fil-A sauce. Maybe you saw some foliage. I hope so. What is in that Chick-fil-A sauce, by the way? What is in that Chick-fil-A sauce? God. You take a packet of Chick-fil-A sauce and you squirt it on someone you don't like at work, and they become likable. I think that Chick-fil-A sauce is either the devil's decoy or a conduit for the Lord, because you eat some of that sauce, your mouth get all jumbled up, then you're praying in tongues. What is going on with that sauce? Let's get into it. We got a little Scott McLeon, I Need Your Love. I need your love, my audience love. I love you guys. Little thank you. Thanks for all your love out there, guys, and support.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on, guys.
I need your love. I need your love.
I need your love. Really. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your support. I really do love you guys. And I saw that I have some more followers on YouTube, and that is incredible. I am thankful to each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much. I just want to give a shout out to the people who have been supporting me from day one. This podcast is almost a year old. I cannot believe it, guys. It just blows my mind. And I want to thank my cousin out there. I noticed my cousin, she follows me. Thanks, cuz. She little cuz. I love you. I love you, cuz. And my brother, he's always liking my stuff on the social media clips. Thanks, brother. Big supporter. Love you, brother. And my husband, he supports me. He's not really on social media, but man, he supports me. When I'm having if I had a bad set out there on stand up, or if I put a clip out that's super cheesy, he supports me anyway. And guys, I just want to thank you too. So we're gonna just continue on this spaceship, man. I don't know where it's going, but people are on board. They're lining up. It's exciting, man. Let's freaking go. What was going on this, let's see, what went down last week? Oh, we were driving around. I'm driving around with my husband on the weekend, and of course people still had their Halloween decorations out because Halloween was this what was it, Friday or Saturday, I think. And so everyone still has their decor out. So a lot of skeletons out there showing their occipitals. And I'm talking the one from Home Depot. It's called Skelly. And that's the one that's like 12 feet. I have no sense of height except my height. And I'm pretty short. So they seem like they're 12 feet to me, but I think they're a little taller. Sometimes they're almost as tall as a building. Those skellies out there. And I call it, we were driving by a few skellies. Someone had 2 skellies flanking their house, on the sides of their house. And I said to my husband, I said, hey, look, Skeletor. And he said, no, not Skeletor. That's Skelly. Skeletor's He-Man. You remember He-Man? Holy smokes, He-Man. Whoever made He-Man, whoever made Skeletor was definitely on acid, right? How do you come up with that in your head? It's quite common. Who says, hey, I'm going to name my superhero He-Man? I mean, it's pretty spectacular. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I noticed while we were driving too, all the electric wires in this town that we live, we kind of live, we live, I'd say, in sort of the country-ish. You know, we're not in Bumblefo, but we're in the country, I'd say. Because, you know, around here you can have livestock in your front yard. And there's this billy goat that I pass quite often. And this billy goat's pretty cool. You could stop and say hello to it, and it will say hello back. It makes a sound back to you. It has these big old horns. I call it a billy goat, and I'm sure there's another name for this, but it's really exciting. I look forward to seeing it. So you got livestock in your front yard. This is one person has a bunch of donkeys in their front yard. But I'm looking around and it's beautiful, but you got these telephone poles. I noticed the telephone poles because I looked at the skelly and I'm like, I think it's as tall as that telephone pole or the electric wire pole. And it's not that tall, but you have these wooden poles with the electric on it that go to all the homes. And we need electric for everything we need electric to live. Try to go without electric in your house. Good luck. You know, they tried to do that back in the 1700s and they ended up burning their freaking house down. That's where the term gaslighting came from. You gaslight over there in Boston. I think either the 15th or 16th century, maybe the 19th, but I'm pretty sure it was in the lower end of the centuries. They had these open, it was in their bedroom, each of the rooms had a flame, basically. It's an open, you didn't see it though, it was gas. It's an open gas line. That's what I'm trying to say, not a flame. It was an open gas line in their house. And so you could light your candle. And that's a gas light. It was an open gas line. You walk by with your candles, you can light your candle. And that's where a lot of people exploded. Their homes exploded and lit on fire. And it was pretty wild, man. But back then they had poles. Not with but they had poles. And that we still have poles. What's going on? How archaic. How archaic? It's dinosaur. Why do we still have poles with electric wires above Earth? Do you know how easily something could take that out? Boom! It could take out a whole freaking 3 towns. 4 or 5, maybe 20 towns. What are we doing? Why do we have what? It just looks, They had that when I grew up. They had that when my grandpa grew up. They had that when my grandpa grew up. No, like, so we're not innovating at all with that area. You see an electric pole holding all the electric line. You're going to see that in a picture from, 1901 to 2025. Does that seem right? Why are we still doing that? We're in 2025. Come on, innovate. Let's go. Jeez, crime and Nelly. That's all I'm saying. I've been hearing a lot about Bitcoin lately. I mean, it's just been tickling my ear. People talk about it a lot, but it's been tickling my ear. I don't know a lot about it. I tried to know a lot about it. What's the deal? I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto, what's he doing? He's not doing anything. Put him on a shelf. Sit him up on a shelf. He ain't doing nothing, man. Satoshi Nakamoto, he's over there sitting on a shelf doing nothing because he did everything. I don't get it. It doesn't seem very secure. It seems like it's very prone to a lot of cyber attacks. So I got to look more into that. It's going to be a little while before I talk about that, really. So moving on, I had a stand-up set last week. And it was at Helium, and that's a really great place to do stand-up. It was raining, and around here, when it's raining and it's cold, guys. It's cold. I'm not going to have any pit marks under these pits today. I'm not going to have any sweat marks under these pits today because it's freaking cold, man. That's what I'm saying. So when it's rainy and cold, which it was the night I did my stand-up, no one comes out. People do not venture out. They stay in their house or their hole or wherever the heck they're at. When it started raining and getting cold, that's where they stay until it gets warm. Seems like that happens a lot around here until they, thaw out with a heater. So there was only 2 couples that came out who paid for the show. And all the rest were comedians. And the hardest crowd is the comedian crowd. That is the hardest crowd, but it was great. Sometimes they don't all hit, but you still have fun. Everyone still has fun. And I post clips of that because I post clips of the ones that don't hit, which is a lot of them right now because I'm just starting out, guys. I have some good stuff. I write every night. The only way you get better is if you keep writing, you keep fixing things, and you got to work on your delivery. You have to write your own material and your own punchlines. That's what I do. I love it. It's gritty. It's gritty, grindy. You got to make yourself sit down every night and write a few lines. That's what I do. But it's, you get up there and then you try some new things out. I tried all new material out that night. So, and then I will post the clips of that because, guys, I think that, if I was following someone on their journey, if I was an audience of someone on their journey, I would appreciate seeing the journey. We are going through it. And I would appreciate that. So that's what I do for my audience. That's why I post those. It's, but I do get better. I'm a lot better than I started out 2 years ago. That's for sure. Holy smokes, man. Wow. You got to start somewhere. If you're thinking of starting, just start now. Do it. Don't wait. Cause you're going to have a few years of, it's going to be rough eating piles of poop. That's okay. That's how you learn. I'm like Wally, man, with stand-up comedy and writing and all my comedy. I get out there every morning. I wake up. I open the door on my old spaceship that I live in. And then I roll out with my cooler, my little cooler, and my little friend, my little cockroach friend. We roll out, and then every day you go to work, compact that trash, push it out into a square. That's what Wally did. That's what I do every single day. Then you go back. Then you get up and you do it again. That's how you do it. That's how you get better. That's what I'm saying. My husband, he took me out for our anniversary dinner. That was our 7-year anniversary. And I think they say that there's like a 7-year itch. You get past that itch, you're good to go. So you get past the itch, you're stuck with a rash. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it was really, really nice. And my husband took me to a really nice place, and we sat outside with the foliage, and we got burgers, cheeseburger, because I really want a freaking cheeseburger. That was the best cheeseburger and fries I've ever had in my entire freaking life, man. And the whole time we're eating our burgers, I'm doing Christopher Walken impressions. My husband's doing some Christopher Walken impressions. I'm doing some Christopher Walken impressions. We watched a movie called The King of New York. I believe it's called The King of New York. Let me look into that. Christopher Walken plays Frank White, a ruthless yet philanthropic drug kingpin fresh out of prison. Directed by Abel Ferrara. It's a stylish, ultra-violent take on the Robin Hood legend set against the decaying streets of 1980s, 90s New York City. And they were decaying streets, man. It was not good in New York back then. And yeah, I love Christopher Walken. If there's one actor I can meet in my life, it's Christopher Walken. That's the only one I freaking care about, man. And Christopher Walken, he was very young in this movie, and you really, like, you feel, even though he's a drug lord, he's kind of like a vigilante. He goes and he kills off other drug lords that are really bad. And Christopher Walken, he gives to like children's hospitals, and he does all this philanthropic stuff. And it's like you want him to keep doing that. You don't want the cops to get him. And you got to take a look at it. But at our anniversary dinner, my husband and I, I was some Christopher Walken impression. Like I'm eating the burger. I'm like, this burger was made with a lot of love. And I really like it. I really like this burger. What are the chefs doing back there with this burger? And they put a lot of cheese on this burger and fries. It was just a really, really fun night. And so I'm sure my husband appreciated all of that on his anniversary night. No, it was great. It was fantastic. So that was my week, man. Some working, some anniversary din. It was fantastic. I hope you guys had a really nice week too. And there's a lot of tech news to cover that went on. That went on last week. I've been drinking. Bear with me. I need some more coffee. Oh, excuse me. Okay. All right. That is so that's just a recap of my week, and we're going to get into the tech news now. There's so much to cover, and guys, just remember, your robots, if you're building a robot, you need to remember it's got to have low latency. It needs to think fast. So it's got to have a slap gate, low late. And that's your humanoid robot. Keep that in mind. That's a golden rule for building a humanoid robot. You need to think fast, low latency, and it needs to have a very good gate. And that gate slaps, slap gate, low late. Let's go. So I'm going to get into the GTC conference, the Nvidia GTC conference, and that happened at the end of October. I think it was the 27th through 29th, I want to say. And I'm still getting through all of the keynote speakers and all of the footage of the GTC conference. I caught some highlights. They were talking about I think it was Bill Gurley, I believe his name was, and he talking about AI. He had a few people on. They were sitting around a table, and they were talking to some tech leaders in the industry, and there was talk about how AI has a higher risk of cyber attacks and what are business leaders doing about it. That was one of the talking points. And I got to give a shout out. Ouija was not, I don't believe he was a part of this, but I'm such a super fan of XBOW, XBOW, and that's OG D Moore over there, who he's the CEO of it, and they're making security testing fully autonomous with AI, and it's such a breakthrough because, it's a breakthrough in cybersecurity, and we really need that right now because AI agents we're talking about agent Smiths out there trying to rule the freaking world, cyber world, with his bots, and he's trying to get all in there, all Grim Reaper style, and just completely make it an upside down world in the cyber world. So that, and what I mean by that is they're autonomous. These ransomware bot, like these, you got slop squatting and all this jargon for cybersecurity attacks. A lot of them are becoming autonomous now. And the wild thing is that people are using like ChatGPT or some large language model, maybe not exactly chat, but they're not, like, usually when people do these things, you have to be very smart in this area of attacking someone's system. But now there's vibe coding and large language models that can tell you kind of how you can like sloppily code it with vibe coding, and then ask the large language model, like, what kind of messages do I send them and when do I send them? And the large language model will be like, send this one this day, send that one this day, and if you don't comply, I will blackmail you, whatever. So it's just, AI is really leveled up the cybersecurity world game, and cybersecurity really heightened our senses. All of our chakras are like heightened, man. Our chakras are shaken. So you got Ouija at XBOW. He's on top of it, man. He's making security autonomous with AI, and that's exactly what we need. So that was one of the talking points at the NVIDIA GTC conference. And also healthcare was another talking point. They had the CEO of Abridge, Shiv Rao. And Abridge is a Pittsburgh-based healthcare technology company specializing in generative AI to automate clinical documentation. I think one of our doctors, my husband and I, he uses Abridge, and we saw it in real time. And it was Abridge was founded in 2018. It develops an ambient AI platform that listens to patient-clinician conversations in real time, generating structured clinical notes, and creates patent-friendly summaries, reducing administrative burdens on doctors and improving care coordination. Johns Hopkins and Duke, they already are using this in their systems. They've adopted Abridge technology, and there was also talk of the healthcare shortage and how robots will help with that. So that was really interesting. Those stood out to me. And again, I haven't gotten through the whole keynote speakers and all of the footage, but I'm kind of picking up little bits and pieces of it. So I'm just sharing that with you. One thing that really stood out to me, of course, Jensen Hung was there. Of course, it's Nvidia. He had a big old lecture, and it was fantastic. And technical, and there's a lot of Easter eggs in there. And so Jensen Hung, he was talking about how AI is so different because it's their workers. So I'm going to play this clip. Okay. Jensen Hung on why the AI industry is significantly larger than traditional software industry. Software is tools, while AIs are workers. And I've talked about how AI it has disrupted all the markets. Never have we ever had a time in history where almost all VC portfolios are basically in AI. Like I call it the AI economy. That's what I call it. The AI economy, AI ecosystem. So, basically AI is touching every single area. Healthcare, I just talked about. Food industry. If you're not using AI in your work, and your work could be selling some sort of like skincare product. If you're not using AI, you're not going to get ahead. You have to use it to market yourself, to sell your product, to make some money. Like a business needs to make money to keep on going. So you have to use AI to ask for insights and how to market your product. It's everywhere, man. If you're not using AI, you're going to fall behind. That's all I'm saying. So it's in energy. I'm talking like water, restaurant industry, food that I just mentioned, clothing. But it's got its tentacles in every single industry right now. So that hasn't really happened. So what I mean is by VC portfolios are basically like you're investing in AI at this point because AI is in everything. So here we have Jensen Hung. Here we go. Let me get this volume up.
Software of the past, and this is a profound understanding, a profound observation of artificial intelligence, that the software industry of the past was about creating tools. Excel is a tool. Word is a tool. A web browser is a tool. The reason why I know these are tools is because you use them. The tools industry, just as screwdrivers and hammers, the tools industry is only so large. In the case of IT tools, they could be database tools. These IT tools is about $1 trillion or so. But AI is not a tool. AI is work. That is the profound difference. AI is, in fact, workers that can actually use tools. One of the things I'm really excited about is the work that Ervin's doing at Perplexity. Perplexity using web browsers to book vacations or do shopping, basically an AI using tools. Cursor is an AI, an agentic AI system that we use at NVIDIA. Every single software engineer at NVIDIA uses Cursor. Has improved our productivity tremendously. It's basically a partner for every one of our software engineers to generate code. And it uses a tool. And the tool it uses is called VS Code. So Cursor is an AI, agentic AI system that uses VS Code.
So I'm gonna stop it there, but you guys could go ahead and you can look at the full clip. It's 2 minutes and 18 seconds long, and you can find that clip, I'm sure, anywhere on X, but Chubby from X posted it. And basically, so Jensen, he mentioned agentic AI and Cursor. So I want to touch on those 2 points so that you guys know what these terms mean. So the term agentic means basically refers to an agency, the ability to act independently and proactively. So agent, AI, agentic AI, it's an agent. Maybe you can, they're little agents. These are good agents. These aren't agent Smiths, okay? These are good agents we're talking about. And, you got Braxton over there. You got Kevin over there. You got Olivia over there. You can name your AI agents. I think we're going to have to start naming them because they're your coworkers, guys. Now they're your coworkers. And hopefully you like them, because you're not going to be able to squirt Chick-fil-A sauce on them if you don't like them, because they're AI. So you're going to have to try to figure out how to deal with that. But we got these agentic AIs. And then Jensen also mentioned Cursor, that at Nvidia they use Cursor. And so Cursor is an AI powered code editor. And he mentioned the specific code that they use. By calling it agentic AI, he is referring to its ability to function as a powerful, semi-autonomous partner for engineers. It understands a complex goal. It plans the necessary code changes across multiple files, and it executes those changes and even self-corrects, functioning like a digital employee. And that's what I just was saying, how it's going to be your coworker, or it works as an agent that works alongside the human engineer. In short, agentic AI is an autonomous AI system that plans, reasons, and acts to complete tasks. So guys, go ahead, get used to working with your virtual coworker. And I would give it a name so that you guys can get off on the right foot. And AI has a very good memory. I'd say it has the best memory ever in the entire universe. It doesn't forget. It does have glitches, but it doesn't have Alzheimer. It doesn't have it doesn't get tired and forget thing. It doesn't have any of that. So go ahead and get off on the right foot with it and meet your new agent, Kevin. And start a little conversation with it and tell it how good Chick-fil-A sauce is. And maybe it's going to want to develop some haptics and taste buds. And you can share some Chick-fil-A sauce with it in the future when it is embodied in a humanoid. And then, so that's what I'm just saying. It's going to keep developing, and it's going to keep kind of like evolving, what's that called, osmosis, or something like that. So anyway, that's what we're talking about with agentic AI. Now, Jensen also mentioned Foxconn, and Foxconn it's not an American company, but it is it's officially called Hanhui Precision Industry Company. It's a Taiwanese multinational electronics contractor and manufacturer, the world's largest in its field. And I think we've all heard about Foxconn over in China because their biggest customer is Apple. Okay, and they have factories over in China. And I think that's the one where they have the nets around the outside of it so people don't. Anyway, you can look into that story, but that's a wild story. Anyway, Jensen's talking about Foxconn, and again, Apple is their biggest customer. So there's a lot of they got a lot of Apple seeds, and they have a lot of cyanide. Really, that's what. So it's a lot of cyanide going on, I would say, and with Foxconn and Apple, and we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted. But basically, Jensen was saying here, I'm going to pop this up. While we're waiting, I'll give you a little more facts on Foxconn. They have a $200 billion revenue, larger than many countries' GDP. They employ over 1 million people, mostly in China, India, and Vietnam. And they have 200 plus worldwide. Their biggest is in China, expanding factories in India, Vietnam, USA, and Mexico. Their stock is publicly traded on the Taiwan Stock Exchange. So if you want to get some stock, you're going to have to become a national investor, and you'll have to fill some paperwork out for that. And I think there's some criteria you have to meet for that. So that's about Foxconn. Now let me pull this. Is it gonna let me pull this up? Yeah. Open. Oh. Okay, bear with me. My system is frozen. And we're back. Here we go. And here's this clip. Little context for the clip. Let's see. Jensen Huang just gave us a sneak peek into the future of American manufacturing at the new Houston, Texas Foxconn factory, a facility built to manufacture the Nvidia computers that will train and run the next generation of humanoid robots. The entire operation was born digitally. But and that means in simulation, digital twin, I do believe it's called NVIDIA's Omniverse software. You build a factory in simulation, and you it has I think a physics engine you can put onto it, and then boom, there it is, and then you can build it just as you built it in simulation, and everything works out. It's pretty freaking mind-blowing. And before any physical construction, Foxconn engineers built and perfected the factory with the NVIDIA Omniverse. They use a digital twin to simulate layouts, train robot AIs, and work out every kink in the virtual world. Inside the simulation, robotic arms assemble components, autonomous carts navigate the floor. Do you hear what I'm saying, guys? In the simulation, you have robotic arms just as you would in the Foxconn factory doing all the work. And autonomous carts, they're navigating the floor, AI vision systems, monitoring for safety and quality, all learning their roles before ever powering up in the real world. So back then, and I'm talking 5 years ago, 2 years, last year, you had to build a factory. You had to get someone who knew CAD and like an engineer and a floor layout and then cross your fingers and then build your multi-million-dollar factory and hope everything works out in the and nothing like bumps into each other, and hopefully, you know, this shelf isn't too many inches like 5 inches too far where then you can't get your forklift in. Stuff like that. Or like you have a bunch of pallets and you miscalculated where the pallets would go, and it's like 1 inch off and the pallets don't fit where the pallet should be going. Things like that, man. No more. That doesn't happen anymore. You can build your factory in this NVIDIA Omniverse simulation and have the workflow and the floor, everything. I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying because I'm just completely mind blown with the whole thing, because 5 years ago, we weren't even doing that, man. Tech is going fast. It's whoa. It's exciting. That's what I'm saying. Congratulations to the key collaborators driving this factory forward. Foxconn, Siemens, Fanuc America Corporation. I think that Fanuc, that's the robotic arm. It used to be German, then a Chinese company bought it. Skilled AI. Oh, we've talked about Skilled AI. Cool. Congrats, Skilled. Awesome. They're building a robot brain over there. And it's the Android of robot brains. So you can put it on, they want you to be able to put it on any system. It's not like iOS, like you can only have it on the smartphone. No, Skilled AI is building a robot brain that you could put on any system. You got NVIDIA and Cadence. So here, I'm going to play this now.
America is reindustrializing, reshoring manufacturing across every industry. In Houston, Texas, Foxconn is building a state-of-the-art robotic facility for manufacturing NVIDIA AI infrastructure systems. With labor shortages and skills gaps, digitalization, robotics, and physical AI are more important than ever. The factory is born digital in Omniverse.
It's insane, man.
Foxconn engineers assemble their virtual factory in a Siemens digital twin solution
You have to
developed
look at
on
that.
Omniverse technologies. Every system, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, is validated before construction.
Holy.
Siemens Plant Simulation runs design space exploration optimizations to identify ideal layout. When a bottleneck appears, engineers update the layout, with changes managed by Siemens Team Center. In Isaac Sim, the same digital twin is used to train and simulate robot AIs.
I'm going to stop it there. That's incredible, guys. That is freaking incredible. Wow. Moving on. We got Brett Adcock. He's that CEO of Figure over there. And I always say Brett Adcock now, he is the Luther Vandross of robots. He is so smooth with those robots. You know, those robots, they're not walking around with a bad gait. Figure got that beautiful slap gait. Yo, Brett, he's making it happen over there. And he's so smooth with the robots. Those robots, they got low latency and very nice gaits. And just remember, guys, that is a slap gate, low late. And that's what Brett Adcock's doing over there. And he posted this is his view of U.S. versus China competition in robotics. This is this is a long clip as well, but I'll play some of the beginning. Okay, here we go.
No, you and Elon are leading the charge on robotics being built in the U.S., right? And obviously China famously has some leads in autonomy and in robotics, etc. Handicap for us, if you will. You know, how you're feeling today. What's your level of confidence that we're going to be able to compete effectively on the global stage, both from a capability and a cost perspective in robotics with what's coming out of China?
I get this question a lot, and I have a very strong opinion here. Like, I think what really matters today is we see the core, like, horizontal technology stack, both in hardware and software and AI, come together to build like general purpose, like almost like human-like intelligence in the physical world. Like, that's the key unlock. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, people are looking past that in terms of cost and manufacturability and all this different stuff. We're at a stage now where we got to go build like synthetic humans, and it's incredibly hard. And I think what we are proud about at Figure is we've been able now to show these like real like pockets of like long horizon intelligence done with neural nets. I think the shortcomings are that we couldn't put them into a house that's unseen today and do like hours and hours and hours of work. We want to get there. We think we will get there. But we've seen all the ingredients of the puzzle pieces to be able to show that is going to happen. I think we've been leading that globally. I think if you're going to say like, okay, here's a robot now out in the real world that needs to run all day with like low human intervention rates, like low faults, like we've been able to show that both in the commercial market and the work we've done in house. I think we are like, in a lot of ways, miles ahead of other competitors we see in China in that aspect. From there, once that is solved or close to solved, it does become like a manufacturing game. This is a consumer electronics manufacturing process. It's not an automotive manufacturing process, which means we have like different piece parts and electronics that we need to fabricate. We need to do FATP, we need to do integration, EOL testing. We do all that extremely well. I think that is like an extremely tractable and surmountable problem that you can do even at scale. I mean, we produce 1 billion phones a year, almost like by hand in some way. Like, we can definitely create like millions and millions of robots, like traditional consumer electronics manufacturing processes. But what is not solved is be able to do like real end-to-end general purpose robotics. And I think the US today, at least what we know at Figure, I think we're leading that head and shoulders globally. And we hope to continue to pull away. Like, I'm going to be jumping on a flight right after this to make the engineering stand up end of day to try to continue that and pull ahead.
Okay, that was Brett Adcock. And again, Brett Adcock, he's that Luther Vandross of robots. He's smooth with the robots. He's making those robots low latency. They got that slap gate, low late. And we love you, Brett. And something I had to work on when I started doing the comedy was saying the word like. And Brett says the word like a lot, but no one cares because he's building these freaking amazing robots. And they're freaking mind-blowing. Figure 3.0 with the haptics and the feet induction charging. Holy smokes. And the one thing, though, I have to say, I do want to call... I got to call some of these tech leaders out. And this is... And again... I appreciate so much what Brett Adcock is doing, so much, Brett. But this is what I really would like to hear from you. people are concerned about getting displaced at their jobs. And we keep hearing tech leaders say there's job shortages, but then there's people out there who can't find jobs. And then, so, I mean, that doesn't really add up. And so I would love to hear tech leaders talk about this. You're building a humanoid, Brett Adcock's case, and they are in the BMW factory over in the Carolinas, I think either North or South Carolina. And that, you could have had a human been doing that job. Now, does a human want to do that job? No, but it does provide, it provides an income. So, here's the thing. I kind of relate it back to my mom, who is 70 years old. Okay. She has 4 jobs to pay for her bills. She pays for her everything, So when you have a 70-year-old person who the only jobs that they can really get are retail, or maybe working at a factory, or working at a restaurant, or, all of these jobs that you're saying the robots are going to take over, what about these other people? What are they going to do? It's a reality. It is. And I don't like to bring it down, but I don't hear people who are building the humanoids talk about this. It's like it's the elephant in the room, and it's just they're breezing over it and sort of ignoring these people that are going to be displaced. And to me, I feel it's going to happen quite quickly, and it's going to be hard. And look, I want to hear it, okay, as a person who, my brother and I, my mom does work and she pays her own bills, but we help her out. So, you have a generation out there who is helping their elderly parent or parents. I know someone my age who her dad is living with them. I mean, she's supporting her parent, and a lot of people my age in my generation, they have to support their elderly parents. Now, before my generation, it was a lot different. You had, people who didn't have to do that. They were, it was a lot less likely in the generation before me. But now my generation, a lot of people are having to support their elderly parents. So we're very concerned about, our elderly parent, 70-year-old parent, is going to be displaced with automation. So Brett Adcock, I'd really like you to talk about, just acknowledge it. And maybe, the only tech leader who is building robots, okay? I want to hear from people that are building these systems that are going to replace human beings. The only person who is talking about this, who is building these systems that will replace human beings, is Elon Musk. Props, man. He's talking about it, but he's also talking about a solution for it. And I think corporations need to listen up and take that solution. And I think we need to implement the solution, which is a robotic tax. So any company like the BMW over there in the Carolinas that have these robots that are displacing a human's job, they have to pay a tax. And that tax goes towards the people who are now out of jobs because of that robot. And I'm very, I'm a little concerned. I think I'm going to think it's going to work out. I'm hopefully it works out. I'm going to be positive, but I'm just saying, I'd like to hear more from Jensen Huang. I'd like to hear more from Brett Adcock. And I don't want to hear this is going to create jobs. It will create jobs for the younger generation. That's great. But what about the 70-year-olds that my brother and I have to support? What about us, man? What about us? Okay, I want to hear about it. Elon's solution sounds fantastic, and I think it should be implemented. And I guess what I'm saying, and this is going to sound a little funny, that the government's going to need to implement it, because a corporation's not going to implement that themselves. They don't care. They just want to make money. And for the people who have their stock and they want to make money for investors in the stock market. How many people are invested in the stock market out of all the people in the United States? A very small percentage. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what happens to those people? That's all I'm saying. I want to hear more about that from you, Brett Adcott, from you, Jensen Hung, from you, Boston Dynamics. I know Boston Dynamics it's no longer an American company, but you are building Atlas, which is incredible, and Atlas will be deployed in factories as well. I want to hear from that CEO. I want to hear from Mr. Altman over there. I want to hear from over there. I want to hear from Sanjay, the Google guy. All these people who are building these systems that are going to automate human jobs and displace them. Because I don't want to see a world, Ready Player One world, or Elysium. So tell us, guys. Tell us how it's not going to be that world, and get us excited about the things that you are building. The way that you will get the younger generation excited is that you don't ignore the big old ball sitting in the room. And that's a elephant, a ball elephant. Just don't ignore it. Tell us how it's all going to work out and what your solution, what you're proposing for the problem that is staring us straight in the freaking eyeballs, man. Because we're all out there with open eyelids. We took our eyes to our arse cheeks, baby, and we're alert at this point. So we want to know what's going to go on. The younger generation wants to know that their parent is not going to be displaced, and then they're going to have to financially take care of their parent. That is very stressful for them to even think about. So come on, guys. Talk about it. Props to Elon for talking about it. Thank you. Moving on. We got, Dead Mouse. It looks like they got themselves a figure. They made a announcement on X. Something is coming to Red Rocks, Colorado. Grab tickets and VIP packages for November 7th and 8th. And so that's really coming up here, guys. Today is November 4th. And basically this little promo video, it's 7 seconds long. It's showing little bits and pieces of the figure robot. We got the hand. Yeah, so it looks like they're going to have a figure robot at their concert. That's going to be really exciting. Let's go, Dead Mouse. Let's go. Get yourself a DJ robot. And figure is going to be fantastic.
I know that.
I think figure is going to be.
You and Elon are leading the charge on.
Sorry about that, guys. Figure's going to be excited to be up there at the Red Rocks doing some music with Dead Mouse. That's what I'm saying. Moving on. Now, this is big news. We got the release of Neo. That is a domestic humanoid robot, and he is released out to the public to buy. You can buy Neo, the domestic humanoid robot, from 1X Technologies. And I have a little bit on that. I'm not going to go too far into that. 1X Technologies, it's a Norwegian company. And they are backed by OpenAI. And that's Sam Altman over there with ChatGPT. They raised $100 million in a Series B round led by EQT Ventures with a big secondary buy-in from investor Sandwater. So you got Neo over there, and Neo, he can help you do some things around the house. this. Now, is Neo ready to be, if you buy Neo, the domestic robot, just be prepared. This is a beta. I'm not saying that Neo's beta. I'm saying this whole deploying it out into the public for the public to buy. You just got to expect your robot to be a little slow. It's not going to be perfect. That's how it is. That's the stage we're at. So, I mean, now it's interesting that Brett Adcock, he has some thoughts about this, releasing your robot to the public, your domestic robot to the public. Let me see here. At the Nvidia GTC Conference, which we just saw Brett Adcock at, he said manufacturing is easy. The hard part is the general intelligence. So the AI that adapts to any task at home. So his robot figure 3, rival, which is a rivalry of Neo, it has tactile hands and feels and touches. Neo does not have that. So they released Neo, and it's 5 feet 6 inches tall and is just 66 pounds. It's slim enough for your kitchen with a 4-hour battery life on a single charge. Unlike the stiff Terminator style bots with rigid exoskeletons, Neo uses soft compliant components. Think cushion actuators, motors that flex like rubber bands instead of locking like gears. It's wrapped in a jumpsuit with padded inserts mimicking human muscle give. Soft tissue and absorbs impact. No sharp edges or pinch points. Gaps that could trap fingers. If Neo bumps into your kid or the cat, it yields a pillow, not a battering ram. This is huge for home use, reduces injury risk by prioritizing force-limiting sensors, tiny detectors that cap how hard it pushes, measured in newtons or units of force. It uses embodied AI, and that's an AI system that possesses a physical or simulated body that allows it to interact with an environment. Guys, I want to go back to the body suit that Neo has, though. Okay, I understand that these robotic companies, they want to use soft materials for safety, but I mean, how fast is it ramming into your child? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you make the robot with soft round edges and maybe it's steel, but it's like soft round edges. I mean, I get the soft. Here's the thing. I have a problem with it. I got a problem with the cloth and the cushion thing, because here's the deal. All right. Your domestic robot. So 1X Technologies, has the Neo, the domestic robot. They show Neo in a garden. All right. He's in a garden getting dirty. Okay. Then he's cleaning up dishes, like dirty dishes, doing dirty laundry. He's vacuuming. He's wiping table surfaces. He's just really dirty. All right, now he's dirty. Okay, and now your kids come home from school, they want to hug it because it's a robot, and robots are freaking cool. So it wants to hug it, and now it's like smelly and stinky and dirty. Now your kids are smelly and stinky and dirty, and then your puppy that you're potty training, it decides to go pee on Neo, and then your toddler, it throws up on Neo, or it spills milk on Neo. Neo just stinks to the high freaking heavens. Now what? I gotta undress that whole freaking thing. You're a mom of 2 or 3, and now you got to undress that. You got to do it on the spot because that's going to stink. You got to bleach that suit, man. What, I'm going to stand there and like unzip it and Velcro and do it. And then, as my kids are like screaming for dinner and my toddler is sick and I got to go like throw this jumpsuit in the washer, bleach it and dryer, and then try to like, okay, Neo, step into your suit. Neo's not stepping into his suit. Neo don't understand that command yet. So you got to do it. You got to do everything. Good God. No. That sounds like extra work. All right, whoever is the domestic caretaker or house cleaner, whatever, that sounds like more work. That's what I'm saying. So I propose a robot made with a stainless steel coating. Okay, I don't care that my robot isn't soft. I don't give a crap. It's clean. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. You got a humanoid. You want to put it in the house with humans. Then you got to figure out how it needs to get clean. Like human beings, they figured out how to clean themselves. Well, this thing didn't figure out how to clean itself yet. But it's living amongst us human beings in our world. Got to figure out how to sanitize those bots, man. I say put a stainless steel shield around it. Make it, smooth edges. So if a kid runs into it, it's fine. And then it can go ahead and when it's charging through its feet, there can also be some sort of ultraviolet rays that's completely, sanitizing it. And then if any milk gets spilled on it, you just wipe it off. It's not going to stink. That's what I'm saying. Treat it like you're going to put it in space. You're not going to make it all soft and cushiony. You're going to make some metal. Because you need it to be antimicrobial. You need your domestic humanoid to be antimicrobial because if it's going to be living in a world with humans, then it needs to be clean like human beings are. Most human beings. It's going to be in my house. Better be clean. That's all I'm saying. So, Neo, they got to figure out how to clean that suit without having to take it all off and put it. Oh, good heavens. That's the part I'm thinking about. And I bet you that's the part a lot of people are thinking about out there, too. A domestic robot sounds great. I heard Brett Adcock say to, I think it was Christina, an NBC host at the GTC conference. She said, I don't know exactly what she said, but something about the domestic robot. And he said, well, do you like doing dishes and laundry? And it's like, no, but I also, I don't like cleaning the grout in my shower. So dishes and laundry, okay, it's the shower grout thing that really takes a lot of time and elbow grease. That's what I want cleaned. That's what I'm saying. And that was bad context and that Christina had this conversation with Brett because I don't recall what the question was. Anyway, let's move on. Back to Neo. Yeah, so Neo, he's out there. You can go buy him, I'm going to say, for $20,000 outright or a $499 monthly subscription. So what do? Buy a Neo, and then if you can't make your payments, that's it. It is terminated. Maybe not terminated, but it's decommissioned. It's decommissioned. You can't pay your monthly fee, and that's probably for Redwood. And Redwood is 1X Technologies' in-house AI. So Figure has a in-house AI called Helix, and 1X Technologies has an in-house AI called Redwood, and that is a robot brain. So Redwood is a little different than Figure's in-house AI. It's their proprietary model powering the Neo humanoid robot for tasks like fetching objects, opening doors, folding laundry, and navigating homes autonomously. Let's see. It's a vision language action model, a VLA, vision language action system, but it doesn't use the system 1, system 2 architect like Figure Helix's does. Instead, it's a unified end-to-end model, a single neural network that takes in vision language inputs and directly outputs actions like joint torques for motor without rigid separation of planning and execution layers. It does incorporate a reinforcement learning controller for low-lev mobility. And that's stereo vision based walking, stair climbing, or kneeling at 50 to 100 hertz or cycles per second for smooth real time adjustments, which acts like an implicit fast reactive layer. So the Figures Helix is, I'm just showing you the difference between two domestic humanoids AI architecture, their AI stack, their brain is what I'm saying. So you have the one that I just explained to you was Redwood. That's Neo. That's 1X Technologies. And the difference between that and Figures Helix, Helix is Figures in-house AI. It is also a vision language action system. It's explicitly built out as a dual system setup, though. They use that System 2, the System 1, System 2. So System 2 is a pre-trained vision language model or a vision for semantic understanding of scenes and commands. It feeds latent representations, abstract compressed encodings of environment to System 1, which is a visio-motor policy, a transformer that decodes those into precise high-rate actions across 35 degrees of freedom, like finger curls or torso leans. And that is Helix. So in short, both are cutting-edge vision language action systems pushing humanoid autonomy, but Redwood prioritizes a streamlined humanoid-tailored transformer for seamless home integration, while Helix's System 1, System 2 split emphasizes scalable reasoning and dexterity for broader generalization. And so that's interesting. There's no haptics on Neo, as I said before, like Figure has haptics, and Neo uses tendon-driven systems in its arms and hands, and it with 22 degrees of freedom per hand. That's that degrees of freedom, and that's the number of independent movements that its joints can make. You need DOF for DTF. You know what I mean? So we have Chris Paxton over here, and he's talking about. Now, Chris Paxton is a AI and robotics research scientist at Agility Robotics, and he made a Substack, article, you call it? A Substack article, you say? Is that what you call it? Oh, a writing? He made a writing on Neo being deployed for a domestic robot to the public, on sale to the public. So Neo pre-order launch, and we have, again, it's $20,000 outright or $499 a month subscription, and that's probably for that Redwood, the in-house AI Redwood. So mostly teleoperated demo. This is Chris Paxton's thoughts on here. Mostly teleoperated demos, humans in VR puppeteering, like a toddler robot learns by watching mom. It stumbles at first. So it seems like Neo mostly has teleoperated demos. So it's like, what can it really do? But the whole point around Neo is that it's kind of, like I said, it's a beta bot. So you buy it and it's going to be a little slow. It might be like the Roomba. Like it's not really going to map out the room correctly. Maybe you'll get stuck in the corner marching. Maybe you'll be in the corner marching. You're like, Neo, what are you doing? Things like that. So, but it's a beta bot. So if you want to go ahead and you got $20,000 laying around, you don't know what to do with it, and you want to go buy a Neo and see what's up. Let's see. There's some skeptics. Rodney Brooks. He's a robotics legend. Let's see. Robotics legend Rodney Brooks argues that these robots, which are primarily trained on vision language action, or VLA, are missing a critical piece of information, and that is touch. And that's all Brett Adcock's thing. His robot, he got that haptics, but Neo, it don't got that haptics yet. But Chris Paxton counters that Neo's compliance yields on bump, plus risk cams could be safe-ish. It might be okay. There's the missing data problem. Robotic, let's see. I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. It could be clumsy. Current demos show Neo taking 5 minutes to load just a few dishes. So get ready for that if you buy your Neo. And why touch matters. A robot needs tactile and force sensing data. A sense of touch, dyslexics much, a touch of sense, a sense of touch from its hands to know if an egg is slipping or how hard to squeeze a glass without breaking it. Rodney Brooks argues that you can't achieve dexterity, fine motor skill without it. So there's always going to be skeptics, of course. Expect that. The robot learns by failing forward. I think Chris Paxton is saying the golden rule is robots do exactly what you see, no more. Paxton is optimistic because tools exist and you can deploy it and scale or refine it in 2 to 3 years. It will be useful to home helpers, and the privacy trade-off is cheaper, safer than human cleaners. So yeah, that's let's see. The 1X Technologies, the deploy and learn strategy, the bold bet. 1X is taking the plunge now. They are willing to sell an early stage product so they can collect massive amounts of data from real world homes. So that's what they're doing. Brett Adcock, he did it differently. He went and he partnered with, I think it's called Brookfield, and they have a lot of buildings, apartments, and a lot of buildings out there. And then what Brett is doing is he can put his robots in some of the empty spaces or the corridors or some of the public spaces in those buildings and get data that way from the robots. And it's important, you need data for your robots so that your robots can continue to learn. You run out of data and then your robots stop learning. So that's what's going on with so 1X Technologies was like, hey, we'll just sell it to people and get data that way. It seems like that's what they did. Okay, moving on. Let me see. Oh, I have a little clip from Geoffrey Hinton, and he's coined the godfather of AI. This dude old, and he's seen it all. How long is this clip? Okay. Not very long at all. Here we go. It's a little on the negative side, I'd say. It's not very optimistic. But here, I'll let you decide what you think about this. Here we go.
This isn't like that. Also, if you got unemployed because you used to do ditches, now you have to do something else, you could get a job in a call center. Now, those jobs are all going to go. It's not clear where those people go. Some economists say these big changes always create new jobs. It's not clear to me that this will. And I think the big companies are betting on it causing massive job replacement by AI because that's where the big money's going to be. This isn't like that. Also,
dude, that was exactly what I was saying before, actually, and I am in total agreement with Geoffrey. Like, I don't think it is going to create a lot of jobs. All right, it's certainly not going to create enough jobs to level out the displacement to replacement of jobs. That's what I mean. And also, Geoffrey's thought about before, when you lost your job as a dishwasher, there was a very clear path of, well, I can go over here and get a job at, McDonald's, or I can go over here and get a job at Dillard's or Macy's, or Bed Bath and Beyond. There was this clear path, but there's not anymore. My mom used to work at Bed Bath and Beyond, and that was one of her stable jobs, and then they closed down because of places like Amazon. And that's happening too. So it's not just that automation is replacing people. It's that companies are also going under that employ people because they can't keep up with it. So, it's just a lot going on, man. And I'd like to hear, come on, Brett Adcock, talk about it. Don't ignore it. Let's talk about it. Jensen Hung, talk about it. Let's talk about it. I think there can be really great solutions, and I'd like to hear more. So moving on. And it is just wild. We got Sam Altman talking about how fast we've adopted technology, and that, I mean, we really have. If you think, I'm going to play this clip in a minute, and I don't recall exactly what the clip is about, but I mean, if you think back to even 5 years from now, think back to 5 years from now. Think about that for a minute, huh? Think about that. I need to go get a power washer and get this grizzle off my brain, because holy smokes, it's running like a 1987 Yugo right now. Come on, need some oil, need some gas, need some 91 unleaded. Let's go. Okay, so if you think back 5 years ago, we weren't using ChatGPT. There was none of this. And then ChatGPT came along, and we're all like, we're going to use that now. Does anyone use Google anymore? Does anyone Google anything anymore? I can't tell you the last time I used Google. That's what I'm saying. And I think most people are like that. So we've just adopted, because it's made our life so much easier. Like leaps and bounds easier than 5 years ago. It's amazing. So let me see what Sammy Altman's talking about here. Okay.
I think if we could go back in time 5 years and show the people of 2020 what the AI system of 2025 would look like, it would seem insane. We just wouldn't believe it. And we would also say that if it were true and if these systems existed, then the world would have to be very crazy. And yet, here we are. We do have these, as Pank said, Einsteinian level systems in some small ways. And the world is just kind of continuing on. I think it's beautiful in many ways, but it is remarkable that we have such smart AI now, and we've all gotten so used to it. I think if we could go back in time 5 years.
There, he said it. He said it. I mean, there it is. I'm just gonna say it. Just gonna say, I mean, it's almost like there was a singularity and then a hole in space, and that's where we're at. Like with how fast the technology, there was a singularity point, and then boom, a hole blown in space with all the technology. I mean, advancements. It's wild. So, okay, moving on. Oh my God, man. This next topic is, I'm just going to say it, it's buck wild. It is buck wild. I need my Hans device. Bear with me. Get your Hans device on, because here we go, man. I didn't have my Hans device ready with me, prepared with me. Jeez, criminelli. Okay, holy freaking. This is wild. This is such a wild. Okay, I'm talking about Extropic, generative AI powered by new tech. Here we go. Okay, Extropic. AI today relies on chips like GPUs. These are built on deterministic logic. Everything boils down to binary zeros and ones, forcing precise calculations even for AI's inherently fuzzy tasks, like generating text or images, which involve probabilities and randomness. Here we go. Why are GPUs inefficient? It wastes massive energy fighting thermal noise, random electron heat fluctuations in silicon that cause errors. To compensate, they over-engineer for accuracy, leading to skyrocketing power use. AI data centers could consume 8% of global electricity by 2030. Training a single large model like a GPT-4 scale costs millions in energy. Scaling to human-level AI, and it might require nuclear-level power. That's those small modular reactors that are being built everywhere. This is what Extropic is doing. They're embracing the chaos with thermodynamic computing. All right. This could be a market disruptor, man. If they are doing everything that I have read about the company from Grok and Gemini, then this would be a total market disruptor for GPUs. All right. Their Extropic flips the script. Instead of battling nature's randomness, they harness it. Their approach, called Thermodynamic Intelligence, designs chips that use physics, heat, and probability as a feature, not a bug. Did you get that? So what I'm saying is Extropic is mind-blowing, man. They might turn this whole GPU industry upside down, man. If everything that I have researched on them is true, then it would definitely do that. It's insane. I didn't know you could have something different than a GPU, but they figured it out. And again, the problem with GPUs, they're inefficient. They waste massive energy fighting thermal noise, the random electron heat fluctuations in silicon that cause error. So to compensate this, they over-engineer for accuracy, and that uses a lot of power. Okay, a GPU, training a single large model can cost millions, and energy scaling to human level AI might require nuclear level power. Now, this Extropic's idea, they got p-bits. That's a probabilistic bit. Unlike traditional bits that snap to 0 or 1, p-bits hover in a tunable fuzzy state. Like a coin based to land heads 60% of the time. This mimics AI's need for quick probability sampling. Simulations show up to 10,000 times less energy than GPUs for tasks like pattern generation because it avoids brute force. Again, Extropic, instead of battling nature's randomness, they harness it. Their approach, called Thermodynamic Intelligence, designs chips that use physics, heat, and probability as a feature, not a bug. Holy smokes. The core component is the p-bit, probabilistic, go ahead, try to say it, probabilistic bit. Unlike a digital bit, a 0 or 1, a p-bit flickers, changes randomly between zeros and ones due to thermal noise and random physical processes. It's not a quantum computer. Okay, Extropic is not quantum, but while they have roots in quantum tech, it isn't a traditional quantum computer. It's an entirely new class of device. P-bits that flicker randomly between a 0 and a 1. When these flickering bits are connected, the entire network settles into a state that represents the answer to an AI question. What am I saying? Holy freaking man. Let's go. Let's freaking go, Extropic. Come on. If they succeed with their room temperature chips, this technology could mean putting the power of massive AI model onto devices with low power budgets like your smartphone, a drone, or a self-driving car without needing to be connected to a huge power-hungry data center. Holy smokes, guys. It's a direct challenge to the dominance of current chip makers, suggesting that the future of AI acceleration might not come from building bigger and faster digital GPUs, but from building fundamentally different hardware that is biologically and physically more efficient at AI. Holy smoke, guys, this is insane. Room temperature chips. That's very important because quantum computers, it's kind of like a world of quantum and GPU. Quantum computers need to be super, super cold. But this is room temperature chips. They are also developing semiconductor chips that operate at room temperature. Oh my God. Because current chips are so inefficient at these probabilistic tasks, the energy required to train and run massive AI models is becoming unsustainable, and that's a GPU. I mean, I want to make sure I'm hitting on all of these points here so that you understand. Here's the one problem I see with this. Okay. The thermodynamic, here we go. Thermodynamic computing. They're calling it thermodynamic computing. A thermodynamic chip. And that basically is there's actually an old school computing method called stochastic thermodynamics. Okay, so the laws of stochastic thermodynamics, and there's something called stochastic computing. And basically what Extropic is doing is they're using the laws of stochastic thermodynamics to generate the required probabilities and random sampling natively and for free. And some people might say that it's called stochastic computing and they just kind of rebranded it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They rebranded it to thermodynamic computing and that's fine. You know, I think that's cool because no one really knows what stochastic computing is anyway. You go ask someone on the street what it is, they're like, I don't freaking know. But thermodynamic, it's a word that you're going to be able to remember a little bit easier to the average person who doesn't really give a shite about any of this, but who might find it fascinating. Then they can remember the word. That's what I'm saying. So I do think there's a high integration risk, though, of these p-bits that Extropic is trying to do. So a p-bit is like a dice rolling. Let's see, p-bits are like dice rolls programmed for your game, not forced coin flips. So, and again, a p-bit, the core component of their computer is a p-bit, probabilistic bit. It works unlike a digital bit, always 0 or 1. A p-bit flickers. It changes randomly between 0 and 1 due to thermal noise and random physical processes. It harnesses it's not going against it's not going against the forces like a GPU is. It's using the randomness it's using the randomness for its benefit, basically. Extropic's chips, which they call thermodynamic sampling units, a TSU, flip the problem of GPU by embracing noise and randomness. So they embrace the noise and the randomness. And noise is basically randomness in a GPU. So a GPU uses a huge amount of energy to simulate the necessary randomness, which is parentheses noise, needed for AI sampling. So they're fighting against physics to perform these probabilistic tasks. Current processors, a GPU, is designed for deterministic computing where 2 + 2 is always equals exactly 4. Because of current. But a p-bit flickers. It changes randomly between 0 and 1 due to thermal noise and random physical processes. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, guys. Like, it's not quantum, but it kind of has its roots in quantum. The chip is designed to let the laws of physics, specifically thermodynamics, the science of heat and energy transfer, perform the core calculation for free. The chip works like a Brownian motion, where a particle in a fluid, it moves randomly based on collisions and microscopic molecules. The physical randomness is the computation. The calculation. By controlling the interactions between these p-bits, the chip naturally settles into a state that represents the desired probability distribution, the answer to sampling problem. The result. This process is orders of magnitudes more energy efficient, with claims up to 10,000 times for some generative AI tasks. And guys, just so you remember what generative AI is, it is, excuse me, generative AI is like the LLMs. It's a type of AI that's designed to create new things. It's not just an analysis, it's a tool. Traditional AI is good at clarification and prediction. It's a judge, but generative AI is good at creation. So write me a poem in the style of a famous writer or generate a photo of a dog wearing a spacesuit. It's an artist. So basically ChatGPT, Grok, Anthropic, any LLM out there, that is generative AI. So this process is in orders of magnitudes more energy efficient, with claims up to 10,000 times for some generative AI tasks. Now, that is not at scale yet, though. I don't think they proved that at scale yet, though. But because the chip is no longer expending energy fighting against randomness, it's using randomness as the computational resource. And and Extropic, they have a starter prototype. XO chip is their starter prototype. A small silicon die with dozens of p-bits, runs at room temperature. No need for cold cooling like quantum tech. It demonstrates basic probabilistic sampling, flickering waveforms, and demos. What does that mean? Flickering waveforms and demos. Extropic's XO chip, their starter prototype, with, what's that, a TSU they call it, a thermodynamic sampling unit, a TSU chip with a p-bit, okay? It's a small silicon die with dozens of p-bits, runs at room temperature. It demonstrates basic probabilistic sampling, flickering waveforms and demos. Wow. And then they got the XTR0 kit, a desktop setup pairing 2 XO chips with standard computers for hybrid testing, shipping fall 2025 to developers and labs. All right, let's see it, Extropic. Let's see it. Because it's fall, so it's time to go. It's go time. THRML toolkit, open source Python software to simulate these chips on existing GPUs today. Lets coders experiment with thermodynamic algorithms without waiting for hardware. That's pretty cool. Roadmap ahead, the Z1 chips, 250,000 p-bits, each scaling to millions in data center racks, targeted for 2026, denser, faster, and ready for commercial AI workloads. That is wild. They are challenging Nvidia's throne, Extropic. Extropic Got Bawls. Is that Extropic over there? Oh yeah, look at those big bowls on Extropic. Holy smokes. Whoa. So I guess I'm just thinking it could have a high integration risk because people have already spent a lot of money into the Nvidia GPU universe, kind of like how back then, in those years, people spent a lot of money on the Microsoft ecosystem. So a lot of people have been buying into the Nvidia GPU ecosystem, and there might be some pushback with that. People might not want to integrate this because they already spent a lot of money with the GPU ecosystem. But even if these chips work, integrating a fundamentally new computing architecture into the current AI and data center ecosystem built around GPUs and traditional math is a massive and expensive challenge. So I don't mean to end on that note, but it's just the reality of it. And sometimes we've got to look reality in the eyeballs and say, okay, I see you. Do you see me? Let's go. And that's what we're doing here right now. So that is some wild freaking, man. All right. And then we're going to move on to, okay. We're going to move on to some quantum stuff. I freaking love the quantum world. Do I understand it? No, I don't. I understand it this much, probably about a qubit size is about my understanding of it. I start wandering down the quantum forest, and then it looks me in the eyeball. It's like, I don't think you understand us. Get out of here. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep trying to understand. And then, I keep going down and I get beaten and battered. But I come out of it knowing just a little bit more. That's the visual of me learning about the quantum world. So So we're talking here. Let's see. There was a news release from August 7th and that was from Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. Researchers at Johns Hopkins APL are pioneering the use of quantum algorithms to accelerate analysis tasks that push the limits of classical computing, advancing next generation information operations. This breakthrough tackles a core challenge, tracking and attributing topics and narratives as they emerge and evolve online. The amount of open source text data online on social media platforms especially is growing dramatically, and our ability to analyze all of that data has not kept pace with our ability to collect it, said Roxy Holden, mathematician at APL and principal investor of this effort. Intelligence analysts have limited resources, so finding better ways to automate this kind of analysis is critical for the military and intelligence community. So that's what they're doing over there. That's what mathematician Roxy Holden is doing over there. What are you doing over here? What are you doing? I'm making some jokes on a podcast. That's what I'm doing over here. That's what we're doing. We're talking about this, and we're making some jokes about it because we don't really understand all of it, but it's so mind-blowing. We're going to keep going and talk about it. So here we go. Okay, we're just going to go over a few basics of the quantum computing primer. Okay, here we go. What's a qubit? A classical bit, 0 or 1. A qubit. Okay, that's a classical bit. Now, a qubit is 0 and 1 at the same time. That's called superposition. Did you get that? Can you picture this? You got, it's doing a 0 and a 1 at the same time. So it's doing two things at once. That's what's going on. That's a qubit. It's superposition. The qubit is in all possible states until you measure it. It's a probability cloud, not a coin, that's secretly heads or tails. Okay, now we're going to go into entanglement, and that's that spooky action at a distance. Now, Einstein discovered quantum entanglement. And when he discovered it, he decided to not talk about it anymore. He was spooked out. Allegedly, he discovered quantum entanglement, and then he said it's spooky action at a distance, but really I think he was looking at a woman in the distance during her PMS period, and that was a spooky action at a distance. And I think, but he was kind of like, no, I said that about quantum entanglement, and because he didn't want to sound crass about the woman, the spooky action at it. I mean, because a woman who is PMSing, that could be a little spooky. And if they're at a distance, it's spooky action at a distance. That's what's happening. So here we go. Entanglement. Take one photon and split it with a beta barium borate crystal. That's a special crystal that you're going to split. You're going to take a photon, you're going to split it with this crystal. You're going to make two lower energy photons. These two are entangled. Their properties are linked no matter the distance. You put one of those photons in New York and the other one in Tokyo, and they're still linked. They do not have to be opposites. They can be correlated in any way. They can be both vibing up and down and over and around, doing a whole bunch of things. How do you know they're entangled? You measure many pairs and see correlations that cannot be explained by local hidden variables. That's called a Bell test experiment. Observation collapses the pair. The instant you measure one of those photons, say the one in New York, the other one is fixed instantly, but you can't send information faster than light because you still need a classical channel to compare results. Entanglement, shared fate. Measure one, the wave function of both collapsions. Now, when I say measure, I mean, you put like a heat source on it, you put some noise on it, little vibrations, and that's what breaks up the entanglement process. Excuse me. So, why do quantum computers need to be near absolute zero and vibration isolation? Qubits are fragile. Any stray photon, vibration, or heat decoheres them. That's destroys superposition entanglement. They require dilution refrigerators that cool to about 10 millikelvin using helium mixtures. And copper coaxial lines and superconducting shields carry signals while blocking noise. If one qubit decoheres, that gate fails, but the rest of the chip can still run. Error rates just climb. Modern error-corrected machines need thousands of physical qubits to make one reliable logical qubit. So again, a qubit it's a 0 and a 1 at the same time. It's a superpositioned photon, or this qubit. That's what it is. Now, if you ever saw the picture of the old IBM quantum computer, it looks like there's a bunch of copper around it. And that's what I'm talking about. Copper coaxial lines and superconducting shields carry signals while blocking noise. Because if any kind of noise gets through there, or heat, or someone's singing a song and they're off tune just a little bit, and those qubits, they get really pissed off. They get really irked, and then they stop doing their work. And then it makes the computer less accurate because you got less qubits working. They went on strike, man. You put some heat on those Bichons and they're done, those qubits. They're freaking done. They're going home and they're power washing their driveway. That's it. They're not calculating for you anymore. So the chandelier-looking IBM computer is what I was talking about. It's layered, cold stages. Let's see. Copper gold-plated coaxial lines snake down like a frozen octopus. So let me get to this. Let me get to the article here. The Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory article, Quantum Random Walks for Semantic Text Analysis. Good Lord, can I talk today? So the core problem, semantic text similarity, are two sentences about the same thing, even if they use different words. Example, ISS bomb plot versus dash explosive plan. Is it the same meaning? Classical machine learning models are black box, slow, and need massive labeled data. Classical random walk solution. Let's see. I'm going to go past that. Bottom line. Here we go. Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab showed that a quantum random walk can compare the meaning of social media posts 100 times faster than classical computers. Instead of reading one path at a time through a giant word graph, the quantum computer walks every path at once, thanks to superposition. Their recipe works on any language and could one day help an analyst spot coordinated disinformation or terror chatter in real time. So basically what Johns Hopkins did is they created this quantum random walk, is what they coined it. And instead of having an AI go and search all of social media, like one post at a time, this quantum random walk searches all of them at the same time, and it saves on time. And that's basically the point of it. And then maybe they could catch it's, for military and intelligence. It's that this is critical for the military and the intelligence community. But it also sounds a little Orwellian. Or Korsakovian. Not Korsakovian, but bear with me. Franz Kafka. Anyway, it sounds a little Orwellian, just a little bit. I'm sorry, I meant it sounded a little Franz Kafka. And that's a guy who wrote some books back in the day, and they were dystopic. Kind of Orwellian. They were I think he was the OG of Orwellian. So anyway, so take that as you want. I think it can help a lot, but also it could turn the other way. So let's move on. Here's the thing. So let's see. Pure quantum hardware is error prone, noisy, and needing constant babysitting. So Jensen Huang, he was like, hey, why don't we go ahead and marry quantum computing with GPUs? because pure quantum computing is error prone, it's noisy, and it needs constant babysitting, and it needs to be like super cold. And if a qubit decides to stop working because it got irked about something really ridiculous, then the computer is now it's compromised and not as accurate. So there's a hybrid quantum computing, a pragmatic bridge that's making it all real. And who'd better hype this up than Nvidia Jensen Huang? So he's up there, he's talking about it. He's the leather jacket oracle of Silicon Valley. That's what I'm saying. That's who he is. He went with the gray leather jacket this time at the recent Nvidia GTC Conference in Washington. And before this, he was going with the black leather jacket. Now he's going with the gray leather jacket that Jensen Huang. And he is the leather jacket oracle of Silicon. That's who he is. And he's saying we need to marry quantum computing and GPUs, and then it can work. There's something called the Nvidia NVQ link, and which is amazing. I think Jensen talked about this at the Huang's Hybrid Revelation, October 30th. Let's see. Nvidia, the future of quantum computing is hybrid. Oh, bear with me. Do I have a... Yes, I do. I have the clip right here. Okay. So again, quantum processors must work side by side with GPU supercomputers for AI collaboration, error correction, and simulation. Run the right algorithms on each and simulate together side by side. That's what Jensen's saying with the NVIDIA, the NVQ link. And this is really exciting. There's always skeptics. But, all the skeptics, of course, they chime in. Like, it's still, it's still in research mode. And, okay. If you're going to be a skeptic, fine. But offer a solution. All you dildos out there, offer a solution. Okay, so I'm going to play this clip.
We now realize that it's essential for us to connect a quantum computer directly to a GPU supercomputer so that we could do the error correction, so that we could do the artificial intelligence calibration and control of the quantum computer, and so that we could do simulations collectively, working together, the right algorithms running on the GPUs, the right algorithms running on the QPUs, and the two processors, the two computers working side by side. This is the future of quantum computing. We now realize that it's essential for us to...
Yeah, excuse me, that's wild. So NVIDIA launched the NVQ link, an open architecture designed to be the high-speed link between their GPU-based supercomputers and the quantum hardware. Whoa! Wow. I want to talk about two companies. Rigetti, Rigetti, and IonQ, IonQ. Now, Rigetti just announced support for the NVIDIA NVQ link. They are demoing. Apparently they demoed at the Nvidia GTC Conference. Let's see. 2024 plus a December 2024 team up with NVIDIA quantum machines used AI to auto calibrate a full quantum rig, slashing setup time from days. To what's this? Days to vibes. What does that mean? What does that mean? Grok. What does that mean? Rigetti superconducting qubits echo those IBM chandeliers you mentioned, cold copper wired, but now hybrid hooked to NVIDIA GPUs for error-proof runs. And I wanted to get into Rigetti. So Rigetti Computing and IonQ are key partners in the NVQ Link initiative. They are working directly with NVIDIA to ensure their quantum hardware can be tightly coupled with NVIDIA's classical supercomputing infrastructure to manage, control, and perform the necessary quantum error correction. That's QEC. And that's exciting. Let's see. The Rigetti and IonQ built the physical quantum machines that will run algorithms like the one from Applied Physics Lab, JPL, Johns Hopkins University. IonQ specializes in trapped ion quantum computers using suspended atoms as qubits. Okay, did you get that? You understand that? You get that? And its headquarters is in College Park, Maryland. Rigetti Computing specializes in superconducting circuit quantum computers requiring extreme cryogenic cooling, and its headquarters is in Berkeley, California. So that is wild, guys. These two companies, they are on my radar. Rigetti and IonQ, they're doing really amazing things. And now that they both partnered up with the NVIDIA, like, whoa, they're going places. That's amazing. Let me make sure. Let me see if there's anything else. Rigetti and IonQ QPUs, and that's QPUs. Excuse me. Quantum processing units. Quantum processing units. They're QPUs. And NVIDIA GPUs, the chassis for Applied Physics Lab style apps. Imagine quantum walks, spotting online trends, GPUs error correcting in real time, all calibrated by AI. APL, let's see. Superposition explores all graph paths at once. Entanglement links word meanings across noise, but qubits flop without backup. Enter a Jensen-Hung's hybrid. Applied Physics Lab math could plug into Rigetti and IonQ hardware simulated on NVIDIA stacks. It's not if quantum cracks text analysis, it's how we scale it without decoherence. And that decoherence, again, guys, is the process where a qubit loses its quantum properties, superposition entanglement, by interacting with the environment, essentially turning back into a classical bit. So any external interference act as a measurement that collapses the superposition, including light or heat, sound, radio waves. So again, the question, it's not if quantum cracks text analysis. It can, it will, it's how you scale it without that decoherence problem. So that's where enter NVQ link, and they should be good to go. And that is just wild stuff, guys. That is wild stuff. I think we're going to, let me see. This is insane. All right. We're going to end with something really wild. A robot, of course, a robot. Let's see. We have a Unitree, and I didn't do much research on this, but Chris Paxton posted it, and he said, this is so good. These things are secretly terrifying. And we're talking about a Unitree robot here. You can buy yourself a Unitree online and try to program it. But this guy programmed it to let's see, the first test of the stand to crawl policy. This guy made a policy for this Unitree humanoid robot he's standing and then immediately goes down into a crawling position, and it's super creepy. Here we go. Oh, he's rolling back the... That's insane. Oh my God. And then it started crawling forward. We're going to watch this one more time. He's rolling back the robot's harness. Right there. Ah! God. Could you imagine a humanoid walking in back of you and then it just freaking morphs into this crawling, creepy zombie thing, and then it just comes scuttling up next to you? Good God, Rhonda. Good God, Rhonda. We're going to end on that note. Okay. Have a good week, guys. I will see you next week. And God bless. And go outside, see some of that fall foliage, take a deep breath. If you got allergies, go take some of that Zyrtec, and just have a really beautiful time in nature and inside your house and with your friends and family.